Yeah, I'm in room 1219. Could you send someone up to check the temperature for me? I just can't seem to get the heat to work. 1219, 1219. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Hey, Laura.
Good morning, Jeff. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. It just occurred to me this morning that I never sent the spreadsheet out yesterday evening.
It's a busy time.
I'll get it out right after this call. I'll email it to you.
Thank you.
It's a pretty solid crowd, 19 people. Are not yet tired of this topic.
I'd say it's the speaker, not the subject.
Oh, come on now. All right, Peter. It's a quarter's worth of promotion.
Something like that.
Yeah. 50 cents coming from you. Appreciate it. Still a minute early, so I'm just gonna ramble a little bit about what I'm hearing from the lobbying corps up here. The Senate president apparently sent everybody home, told everybody not to come back to work on Friday and have a long weekend. The House is still in session today, but they are still just miles apart on budget. And it's not just the kind of the top line numbers, it's also about some fundamental, points of disagreement. The controversy around the Florida Hope program is still kind of casting a cloud over a lot of, what's happening up here. There's a lot of really pretty significant acrimony still. So maybe a long weekend will allow people to cool off a little bit. But the prognosis as of this moment is there isn't a snowball's chance in, what, to get the bill or to get the Appropriations Act passed and close session on time next week. So the again, the scuttlebutt is there's really a few different ways they can handle this. They got to pass a budget, so they could extend session and, give themselves a little bit more time and maybe use that, that defined time to get them some motivation to get it done so they can all go home and return to their normal lives. Or they could, kind of pause session and schedule they could end this regular session. They could, schedule a special session just to tackle the budget and come back in, May. I don't know what's more likely. My guess is probably just extending it another week if they think they're making some progress. The added benefit of an extension is it would not immediately kill every bill that's still pending, so they could theoretically still pass a few more bills. They're very, very behind on getting bills all the way through the process. So lots of people that are pushing their bills would probably appreciate having a little bit more time to get some more bills through the process. But anyway, there's a lot of drama up here. So you'll see some. I'm going to show the report here in a second. You'll see a little bit of activity from last week, but the vast majority of what's happened is bills that are on the floor are still on the floor. A few of them have passed this week, but most of the work has been on appropriations. Any questions before I dive in? All righty. So again, these are organized in order. Because I ran this late, I did pick up some activity from yesterday. And this last week's worth of work is this top bit of bills. So a lot of bills that were, on their last committee last week did make it to the floor, and emergencies is one of them. And we've talked about this a little bit. This is the bill that got the stormwater inspection requirement. I think it got thrown in here. I need to actually double check that. That was something we talked about, whether it was going to be amended at the last stop. Apologize. I need to go back and look at that. But this one would pick up the Senate Bill 810 language and was supposed to put it in here. If it's not in there, then that means that provision is not going to make it. This otherwise has very little to do with environment or nothing to do with environment or stormwater. This is a DEM bill, but it was being used as a vehicle to put in the Senate Bill 810 language, which, sorry, a lot of this I'm just, you got a stream of consciousness right now happening from my head. Senate Bill 810 was the one that requires municipalities to do, mandatory inspections on their stormwater infrastructure and provide a report to DEM each year by the beginning of hurricane season. That was, heavily fought by the Stormwater Association and the League of Cities, but it did make it through the Senate, and they were looking for, but there was no House companion, so they were looking for a House companion. I think it's in here. I will double check. Administrative procedures, this is JAPC. It's on the floor. This revises the CERC. Brownfields is still on the floor in the Senate, has not been passed. Water access facilities, which is the Clean Marine Manufacturer bill, that has passed all the way through both sides. So that's enrolled in a posture to go to the governor at some point. The Water Management District bill on the House side is on the floor. Let me skip ahead. I believe, and I think we covered this last week, that the Senate is already passed. This is down here. It passed a couple weeks ago. I just wanted to be sure I was right. Waste management is the this is the waste energy facility. There's a few things in here, but this also prevents the waste energy facility in Miami-Dade County. This is in the Senate, is on the floor and is on the calendar for final vote on, looks like Monday. So yeah, Monday. Its companion has already passed. So that looks like it's going to go through. Mitigation banks is still on the floor in the House, has not been calendared for vote. There's a few of these in this situation. All these ones on second reading calendar in the House means they're on the floor but haven't been scheduled for a vote yet. The State Lands Bill, State Park Preservation Act prohibits golfing, new golf courses on state parks, among other things, is on the calendar for the Senate on Tuesday. The no drilling in the Apalachicola Basin bill has passed the House and the Senate. The Senate bill got laid down and they took up the House Bill 1143. That's going to be presented to the governor at some point. The land development bill, why did this is has I think this got the mitigation bank stuff. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having a brain fart here on land development. That name just isn't ringing a bell for me. Let me grab my other one. This is last week. Or I'll do this.
Is that the one, McLean's bill with ag enclave language that was killed and then brought up for reconsideration yesterday?
Yeah, maybe. Passed rules. Oh, wait, passed rules earlier in the week. Looks like it got amended. So yeah, I apologize, but I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on this bill. It's not ringing a bell. It was not on my report last week. Sorry. Okay, I'll flag that one. Credit release issues. Okay, so it does have mitigation bank language in here. Alternate lease schedule, blah, 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 blah. I wonder if mitigation got thrown on here. And I apologize for not having more details. Those changes happened this week and I was not paying attention. I'll keep going. We'll use the balance of time. I can come back and do a little bit more of a deep dive on 492. The recycling bill is on special order calendar in the Senate on Tuesday. I believe the companion passed. Companion passed the House, so that looks like it's going to go. We've already talked about state lands management. The former phosphate mining lands, that did pass the Senate, and I think the House, it's on the floor. Where did that go? Passed the Senate and the House companion for House calendar. I hate the Senate side. Yeah, I think the House version is on the floor. We talked about the recycling bill. Brownfields has passed the House. It's on the floor in the Senate. The House DAX bill, which has the fluoride on it, is on the House floor and has passed the Senate. DWTS has passed the Senate. It is on the House floor. Springs restoration has passed the Senate and is on House floor. There's the stormwater management issue we talked about before with the inspections. Emergency preparedness. This bill got the 810 language put on it to be the companion for 1535, and this bill did pass. So 1535 and 180 are unless they amended it on, were different, and so that's why I was looking forward to see whether that stormwater language made it onto 1535. There's the water management district bill in the Senate that has passed. It's over on the House floor, and then now we're kind of getting to the not a lot of action. Oh yeah, I was wrong. Okay, not a lot of action here. So the one water approach on the Senate, this was an adopted resolution, so they did get that done. On the House side, it's on the last stop. I think it's probably not going to make it. Former phosphate lands, I was wrong. I'm sorry. It did not make it to the House. It got stalled, did not make it on the last committee. Same thing with special districts that abolishes the soil and water conservation districts and does a bunch of other things. That's on the last committee in the House. Springs Restoration's on the floor, and then everything else below this red line is dead. And there's going to be a few things above this red line that are probably also dead, like these bills that are in state affairs. Although, theoretically they extend the session and it's technically not dead until they drop the hanky. So just not likely. Anybody have any questions? And before I go back and try to unravel this mystery of the land development bill for y'all. Everybody's feeling sorry for me today. We get man, I hate the Senate site. Where is there we go. Yeah, this is the mitigation bank bill. It just got amended onto something else. So, and there's no bill analysis yet. Is anybody following this closely? Has watched this thing happen this week? Okay. All right, then. Yeah,
I was
sorry.
gonna say no, but didn't we talk about it allowing for out of basin purchases at sort of a premium cost?
That's right. That's right. And I am certain that the mitigation banks bill, that 1175, which is it's here as a related bill, that is what I was expecting to see, but this title has changed. So I'm gonna look in here and see what got amended on rules, because they did a committee substitute, which means they changed the bill 4 days ago. So and there's no post committee bill analysis, so I can't tell from here exactly what they did. I need to go into this in a little bit more detail. But I think it's the mitigation bank bill that they must have done something else to it that I'm not following.
What bill are you looking at?
492.
Yeah, I've got a post-meeting rules analysis I'm on the Senate site too.
Huh.
It's done on the 22nd.
Yeah. But they changed it. You're saying down on this post meeting rules 422. Oh yeah, that is this week. All right. Sorry, I skipped right over it. Thanks, Alan.
Sure.
That's why he
Yeah,
gets
it would
paid the
be,
big bucks.
Yeah, it would be the amendment from McLean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wish this were a House bill. They have that section in the House analysis where they say what got changed at each committee, and I can figure out what got changed on this week. This was called mitigation last week, 492.
Is this where they removed the conservation easement language?
Perhaps. I'm guessing. I'm not going to say anything else certain anymore because I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't want to keep digging my hole. Sorry, y'all. I'll do when we hang up, I'll do a little deeper dive and I'll send an email out along with the spreadsheet that I didn't post yesterday, with the mitigation banking bills, what happened, and then why this is now called land development.
Yeah, that Jeff, the amendment I was just talking about, the title amendment starts on page 10 of the amendment.
Of here?
Where they change it to land development and.
Okay. All right. I will, wait, you're talking about this section? Are we looking at the same thing?
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay. All right.
Now you're looking at the analysis. I'm looking at the amendment itself.
All right, thank you. I need to go look at the amendment. That's what I want to do, just not in front of everybody, taking up everybody's time. With the asterisk next to 492, does anybody else have any questions? Alan, I don't know if you missed my opening dialogue. Do you have anything else you want to add on your prognosis for next week or extending the session, special session?
Yeah, I heard you, and yeah, I'll be saying pretty much the same thing. You know, if they extend, they'll keep the bills alive. If they don't, and just want to kill everything and just do the budget, then they can tiny die, so to speak, and schedule a special session. But yeah, who knows what's going to happen from here? Everything threw up yesterday. The Senate president took a shot at the House Speaker and then let the Senate go, so they're not even here today. He sent them home, and so the Speaker retaliated, and DeSantis was at a press conference beating up on the Speaker. So it's just, everything's up in the air. And when they drop that hanky, I'll go home and wait, see what happens.
And then the Senate minority leader resigned as minority leader and resigned from the Democratic Party and became an MPA. And we have a new minority leader in Senator Berman. That was fun too.
Wow. Drama.
Yeah. Jeff, you might look at it like this, but I look at that as, just shuffling the chairs around at the kids' table. Because they really can't do anything on that side right now. No, this is a nasty session. There's no doubt about it. Nobody's getting along. So,
JW, I saw your question pop up in the chat. I had two kind of misses this morning. One was studying 1535, which is the DEM House companion to 180, which is where the MS4 stormwater language got added to. So just a real recap for JW. So the MS4 inspection requirements that were in 810, that made it all the way through, but there was no House companion to that bill. So that got amended on to 180, Senate Bill 180, which passed and was sent over to the House. 1535, which is the House companion, is on the floor, and it did have action this week. I just haven't checked it, JW, to see whether they amended on that 810 language. And I'll do that right after this call, and I will put that and the 492 amendment analysis in an email along with this spreadsheet.
Right. But Jeff, the unfunded mandate for the inspection requirements is pretty much still in play. The cities and counties are going to have to do these inspections without additional funding. Is that still a accurate statement?
I know that is what they've all said. What I think is a little bit of a politicization of that comment is the cities and counties that are operating in MS4 have to do an annual inspection. So I don't think the cost of the annual inspection will be new. I think the cost, and I mean, they've said it's significant, but I'm not sure I know for sure. But I think what is new is that they'll have to fill out a form and send it to DEM that they did their inspection. Have you heard anything more specific, JW?
No, I just know League of Cities and the Association of Counties are just crying.
Yeah, no, for sure. But they may not be aware that an MS4 already has to do an annual inspection. Now, admittedly, this language is pretty specific, and the purpose of this inspection, this particular inspection, is to ensure that all your flood conveyance, features, your, culverts aren't blocked. I'm not sure if that's the purpose of the MS4 inspection, but my point is there is already an annual inspection. This may add to that, and I understand that that's been called an unfunded mandate, and it technically is. And I know they've been pushing back.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
Yes, sir. All right. Any other questions? Did I miss anybody from the chat? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, I owe y'all a little bit of work, so let me get to that. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Talk to you next week.
Thank you,
Too.
Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
You.